There we go. And yes, there's lightning. Hello. It is thundering. It is lightning. It looks actually really crazy outside. I want to show y'all before we get started. I know I literally just fixed this whole thing. And now I'm taking it apart. It's raining. You can hear it. It sounds so peaceful. The streets is clear. Nobody's out on the streets. But no matter what, work still has to be done. So even though everybody is sleeping, enjoying the rain, I'm up trying to get this money. So I got stuff to do. And I really wanted to hop on here to talk to y'all about how to set yourself up financially, like your residual income and your passive income, to make sure that you are good. Make sure that you are good if you're trying to move abroad. I think that's like the number one thing that people ask me is like, how do you? And honestly, I think everybody's way that they make money. Y'all hear the thunder? That's crazy. Everybody's way that they make money is different, right? So, sorry, I'm trying to get the camera out. I hate seeing me on the camera in the glass. All the things are in the... Oh, let's do this too. Hold on. Because I feel like... Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay. I feel like I get asked pretty often, actually. Like, I want to live abroad. Like, how do I make money? Can I be a teacher? And I get that everybody wants to move, right? But I think this concept that all of a sudden, just because you want to leave the country, that you should be an educator, it does not make sense to me. If you've never wanted to be an educator before this, I would not suggest you become an educator all of a sudden because you want to leave the country, right? In my opinion, I personally don't think that's a good enough reason. I really want to get this out of the thing. Well, you know what? Let's do this. There we go. There we go. I say just now? Lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I would not suggest becoming a teacher. I know that's like one of the number one ways that people make money while they're here, but I would, what is the word? I think it would behoove you to do something else, right? I have seen people who had teaching jobs and then they didn't have a teaching job, if you know what I mean, right? So I feel like that's one of those things where, although it's not a bad idea, right? Because it does work, people do get those jobs, that's a thing. But I also think that, once again, unless you're a teacher, I would not suggest that. I would not at all suggest that, because I feel like it takes a certain person to teach, right? And everything ain't for everybody. And I think these are children we are talking about. So considering that, I think it's very important to be mindful. And if you can't speak their language, that already puts you at one disadvantage. If you are not trained to be an educator, that puts you at a different advantage. And I want to be like clear. Let me make sure my sound is good. Trained to be an educator. Oh yes, good. Okay. I want to, I'm not saying that you can't, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with coming to Thailand or any country. I have a friend who used to teach in Dubai. I have a friend who used to teach in Abu Dhabi. I have a friend who used to teach in Japan. I have a friend who used to teach in China, right? So there's nothing wrong with teaching abroad. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, I think that you should be an educator to want to be educating people. Does that make sense? It's kind of like if I don't really know how to do taxes and I take a little class and then I decide I'm going to start doing your taxes, right? Now, could I do your taxes just fine? Yes. Could I mess up on your taxes because I took a little class that really does not teach me anything, therefore I'm not really teaching somebody else anything? Yeah, that's like a whole real thing. And I think we should take a lot of pride into what we do to make money, right? And I think you should care more about what you're spending your time on than just deciding to go get a TOEFL certificate because you want to teach in Thailand. Like, there's got to be something else that you're better at than something that you don't already do. I tell my clients all the time, when you are looking to figure out what you can do to make extra money, how you could bring in residual income, how you could get passive income, figure out what you're already good at. Take that thing and then make money off of that, right? Why would you go pick up some new skill or try to do something that you've never done before really half-assed? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just do something that you're already good at, right? So I have a client who is a nurse, and she just wants to travel more. If y'all know nurses have to be at the hospital. There is no really way to get around that. The patients are at the hospital, therefore the nurses have to be at the hospital, right? Also, because of that, because of the schedule, there's only a certain amount of days that she could get off max throughout the year, no matter what. Which is why a lot of nurses do travel nursing. I don't know if anybody's familiar with what travel nursing is, but that's why a lot of nurses do travel nursing, because basically you get contracts. The contract lasts for like 8 weeks or 12 weeks, or however many weeks. And once you're done with that contract, you're done, right? Until you accept a new contract. So if you wanted to travel in between contracts, you absolutely can. So she didn't necessarily want to do travel nursing, but she also wanted to do something that didn't require her to be client facing. So we did two things. The first thing is, once again, because she was a client facing nurse, we got her a nursing position that was not client facing. I don't know if a lot of people know that most jobs that are client facing have a non client facing version of it, right? So, for example, there are lawyers who work on medical cases, right? Not every lawyer goes into court. There are doctors who work for insurance companies. Not every doctor sees patients, right? There are, in this example, there are nurses who work for staffing agencies, right? Because nurses are the ones who are helping the other nurses who work for the staffing agency, right? Even though there's a slew of people who staff at the staffing agency, we don't know medical terms, we don't know nursing terms. So there's a slew of people who do that. So we got her a non-clinical, non-patient facing nursing position, and she started her consulting business. I helped her start her consulting business because there are a lot of nurses who are new, right, who want to get into other types of nursing, other departments in the nursing field, and they don't really know how to break the barrier, right? A lot of new nurses get stuck in like ER and that urgent care area, but there's lots of departments where you make more money. So anyway, basically we helped her figure that out. And so those were the two ways that I helped her create more freedom. I think everybody always thinks that when we talk about residual income and passive income and moving abroad and all these things, that you got to quit your job and you got to be a business owner. And that's not necessarily true. You don't have to quit your job. Right now, maybe you find a different job, and I get that that's scary in this economy, but you got to figure out what's going to work best, right? Are you going to stay at your job and be unhappy until the economy changes and then you could go be unhappy, or are you going to go like figure it out, right? Because you could totally decide to be happy while everybody else is unhappy. You don't have to follow the crowd. I know stuff is hitting the fan here in Thailand as well as in the States. It's not stopping me from being happy, okay? I got my residual income set up. I have my passive income set up. I have my businesses going. So I know God is going to provide in all of the ways that he should, right? But that's one of those things that I really encourage people to do before you need it. Do not wait until you need the passive income to set up the passive income. Don't wait until you need the residual income to set up the residual income. Don't wait until you need the business to set up the business. Don't wait until you need the stocks to buy the stocks. Do everything ahead of time before you think you need it, before you actually do need it. You know what I'm saying? So Thailand, I'm not saying I would suggest a business, but I do think having a business is the easiest. I think a lot of people run into issues trying to work remotely here. I'm not saying it's not feasible, because I know a lot of people who do it also. I'm just saying there are things that you will run into that might be a little bit of a hindrance, right? Like the ability to stay awake at night. I know a girl, she is a social worker and she lives here. And she has a remote job, so her social working job allows her to work overnight. So she is like fully at work right now, right? Which is totally different than me hopping on this live to talk to y'all about how I make money and how you can make money to live abroad. And then I can hop off here and go to sleep, right? So one of them is a freedom, and then one of them is a responsibility, right? And do I have a responsibility to my business to do stuff? Yes. But with that responsibility comes the freedom to do that whenever I want to versus whenever somebody else told me I should, right? And I think that is a huge transition. Somebody asked me earlier, how has my body gotten used to like the time change? And it has not gotten used to the time change. As you see, it's dark. It is dark. It is, what time is it? It's 3:21 a.m. here. And it's dark and I am up. right? So I have not fully got adjusted because I'm up all day because there's stuff that needs to be done in Thailand, right? Like I'm still here to live. I'm not here to just be a sleep all day person and then up all night, because where am I going at nighttime, you know? So yes, I'm normally up during the day. I had lots of errands to run. I had to go to the grocery store. That vlog is gonna be up soon. Make sure you check out my vlogs. Um, and yeah, all of my programs and stuff, they're linked to my page. So if you're interested in my go from corporate to CEO program, which is basically just for those people who want to transition out of their job, right? There's a lot of people who want to leave, but they don't really know what to do, right? And there is a process. It's really not just deciding you want to leave your job and quitting, right? Because you're not really setting yourself up for success financially to make sure you're good until you get to your next destination, wherever that may be, right? And part of that is setting up your next stream of income before your 90 days is done at that job. And I think a lot of people make the mistake of telling their job early that they're going to be leaving. I get the respect aspect of the 2 weeks. But most jobs aren't going to let you stay your 2 weeks. Most of them are not. So, with that being said, I definitely feel like that's something that you should set up ahead of time. The minute you decide that you want to leave, that you want to exit out of corporate, which I have an ebook on that too, like basically outlining your 90-day period of what you need to do from the moment you decide to the moment you actually leave, outlining everything that you need to do. A lot of people don't know that you can request to work remote if you are in the office, if you have a FMLA request, right? So that is the first thing I suggest people do, is transition from the office to their house. Once you're in your house, it gives you a lot more leeway to get stuff done for your move while you're working, right? It gives you leeway to make phone calls and check websites and do all of these little things that you need to do from the comfort of your home versus at work. And a lot of people, we're not really working 8 hours a day anyway while you're at your job, right? Now, there are days where you have 8 hours worth of work, and there's some days where you don't. So there's lots of time where you could be doing other things, but you don't because you're at work. So that goes back to the freedom aspect, which is why that's part of the transitioning period. Because one, I think it prepares you, your mental, to feel what it's going to be like to be working from home or working from a cafe or working from the park or whatever that looks like, right? It starts to mentally prepare you for that feeling. It starts to mentally shift your thought process out of being in the office, right? Because sometimes there is a shock with that. And I don't think a lot of people are anticipating or expecting that, but that's a real thing. So that's part of the transition period. I really set it up so that you're good mentally, you're good financially, and you're good from like a physical standpoint, right? That you have like checked off everything that you need to do. And once you do that, then I think moving abroad is easy, right? Because as an expat or a nomad, your life is gonna kind of be very ebb and flow, right? And even though I'm in this apartment every day, it's a lot different than being in my apartment every day in the States, right? It's kind of like almost nothing that anybody could do to get me to do anything different, right? Which is not the same. Thailand can make a decision today that all foreigners have to have $50,000 in their bank account if they have been here for more than 60 days, you know? And then now I gotta liquidate 50 G's or I gotta get out of Thailand, right? Which is not the same as living in the States. So that's something to consider too, which is why the passive income is important, which is why the residual income is important. And you don't have to leave your job. Once again, if you just want to create more freedom, you could do that. And the freedom comes from having income from other places. A lot of times we make the decisions we make at our jobs because this is our only paycheck. If you were getting a paycheck from somewhere else, you would feel completely different about that job. If you were getting a paycheck from somewhere else that was half the price of your paycheck, you would feel completely different about that job. If you were getting a paycheck that was twice the amount of your paycheck from that job, you would feel completely different about that job, right? So it really doesn't matter what you do. I have a doctor who I helped find some way to create residual income. She does like, what do you call it? I guess like home visits. What is it called? When they keep you on retainer. That's what she does. She does like retainer visits on top of being at the hospital. So she cut her hours back at the hospital to part-time, and she does retainer visits so that she can make up that additional income. But the good thing about retainer visits is those people know when she's going to be out of town. She was in Greece for a month, and then she went to Italy recently. Italy, France, one other place for a month. But yeah, so the good thing about that, you know, me helping her set up that business is that she can literally do anything that doesn't need like direct patient care. She could do from anywhere, right? So she could hop on a video just like this. Let's say her client is Justin Bieber, right? And Justin has a cold sore on his lip and he needs, you know, her to tell him what it is. She could charge Justin $50,000 to hop on a video call while she's sitting in Greece. She could look at Justin's cold sore, tell him what he needs to do, send a prescription to the thing. Easy breezy, right? There are lots of things people don't know they can do, which is why that's where I come in, because then we talk about all of those things, right? Every job has a traditional way in which it is done. And then there is lots of non-traditional ways that stuff is done. So, especially in the medical field, I feel like everybody thinks that you have to be patient-facing. And I get why you want to be patient-facing when you first graduate, right? But you don't have to be patient-facing for forever. I have a client who worked in IT. We helped him figure out like a teaching course class thing that he would do with kids who are interested into getting into website development. So he had like a program that he would do with kids. He like partnered with a bunch of schools and like PTAs and stuff like that to find kids for his program. So like there's so many options. There's not a profession that I can think of that I can't help you figure out some way that you could do something. And it doesn't have to do anything with your profession also, right? So for example, laundromats are great investments. You got $10,000, you sitting around, you got $15,000 sitting around, buy a laundromat. Buy a parking lot. Easy, breezy, lemon squeezy. Okay, it doesn't have to be anything that you have to run on a daily basis. Like everybody thinks that buying a business or starting a business. Now, mind you, start a business means you didn't have one and now you do. That does not mean you have to build a business from scratch. That is a misconception also. You can absolutely go buy some business that's already done. People do that here in Thailand all the time. There are bars and stuff that used to be bars, right? And maybe they're not currently open. It's not a bar anymore, but it's completely already set up. You can literally buy the bar as is, already a bar, and nothing you gotta do is change your name outside on the door and fix your Google listing. That's it. And buy all of the stuff for the bar, of course. But that's it. So, yeah, it's really one of those things where It's imperative. It's really, 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 really imperative. It's really, really, really imperative. If you're going to come, it's imperative. Highly. Sorry, I'm reading the comments. Somebody just said, I need your program. Yes. The link is in my bio. To my Pinsite page. You can find the link to my CEO, corporate CEO program, as well as my Let's Get Started program. So one is for people who have a little bit of the thing set up and they just need a little bit of help. And then one is for people who have like no idea where to start. No idea at all, like whatsoever at all. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. And we're gonna cut some sound on because it is really quiet in here and I don't like it. I watch old episodes of TV shows when I'm working. I don't know if I said this before because I don't like it to be quiet. It's really quiet. So we are going to change that. I'm going to cut a little bit of sound on. The reason I'm not going to cut music on is because then they blocked my video. Unfortunately, I prefer the music. I don't want my video to be blocked, so. All right, let's cut this back on. So right now, my guilty pleasure is Real Housewives of Dallas. Don't judge me. I'm a Real Housewives fan. Like a real one, not a fake one. Real one.
What's the point of trying to make in my uneducated brain, when we were in film.
Okay, let me go to the bathroom and I'll be right back.
I did not realize that. That is true. So you're telling me what I say. You're telling me what you don't know me. Yes, I do. You don't know me. No, I am so you know your consciousness. That way, that's what you kept saying over and over again. Bro, it kept going on and on and on and on. And then when I was trying to get you left, the finale part, you got in the car and then told me more. That's not true. You know what got in the car?
You did say not effective as you walked out the door.
Yes. Not effective.
It's interesting to me that you didn't reach out to her and try to.
It's so hard for me to even like. When it comes to doing it because I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? She's just gonna like,
Stephanie, do you think being called out as a Mexican is racist?
I do. I honestly, I feel like the things you said were racist. I would like to think that you're a better person than that. It was ignorance. But yes, Leanne, they're racist. I truly believe that Fiji's everywhere racist. Yes.
Leanne, do you understand that there's a difference between Carrie calling herself Mexican and you calling her?
By the way, I never called myself
You had
Mexican.
said that
It's wrong.
Carrie referred to herself as Mexican all season, and you were just repeating what she said.
That's a lie. It is how I felt. I will tell you that.
Coming. Sorry. Oh shoot! Not the curtain, Lord.
I've said to several people, if she would have said, I'm a turtle, I can do this, I'm a turtle, I can do that, I would have said, oh, where's the big fat turtle? I would have. In my mind, I was ignorant and I didn't understand the power of that word.
If you understand that there's a difference when you refer to yourself as something, like,
Well, myself, old white lady all the time. I mean, I just don't really, I agree.
it's not the same.
Okay, I agree.
You said you sat in studio with Lakers.
Yes.
You realize he's Spanish,
No.
Mexican.
Hello, no. No.
I'm curious if you have talked to the other ladies about this since the show wrapped.
No, I was really unhappy with myself. I mean, I've spent a lot of hours crying over this and realizing how horrible this was.
But it's interesting that you didn't express any of those feelings to
No,
any of the
I'm
people
not
that
good.
you mattered to.
I'm really not good at that. And that's something that I have to get better at. I'm really not good at that.
It's just be like, you have to get better at so many things. I mean, you're always saying that. I'm not good at this. Get better at that. I'm not good at this. Maybe I didn't say it. Maybe I did say it. Maybe, I was drinking. Maybe I wasn't drinking. Maybe
This is why.
I don't understand why it's not popping through.
Do you see, like, no matter what I
Maybe
say,
'cause it's
it's
dirty.
never good enough, it's never right enough, it's never correct enough, it's never.
was never real.
It is. It is, but that's because you don't think I'm real, and that's your perspective of me.
Yeah. So, Leanne, I love you to death. You made horrible mistakes. Horrible. We can't take them back. You're gonna learn from this. It's gonna take time. I think we all just have to remember too, she is human still. And humans make really bad mistakes.
I really suck, and I really went in a hole, and I really was very upset and disappointed.
So I don't feel like you care at least bit for her.
Oh, of course,
Let me see how loud the TV
And then I
is.
said to you, it's about the actions, not your words.
I agree.
And then I said, yes, I'm gonna,
Let me see how loud the TV is.
I don't like it as a mistake.
Let me see how loud the TV is. Okay. It's not that bad.
I know that this is wrong. I believe you did it back. You're acting hard, because I know you did it back. That's the saddest part, Andrew.
Stephanie, a lot of viewers thought you should have said something to Leanne in Thailand. Enid 007 said, Stephanie, if you don't call out racism, you're making it seem okay. Kira JW said Stephanie knew what Leanne said was offensive, but never called her out on it.
I 1,000,000% agree with them. I was too chicken shit to do it. I was scared of her and the stage she was in. And you know what? That's my bad. And watching it, I was disgusted with myself.
There's something else that's happening here, which is that you all thought that this was never going to happen. There's something else that's happening here, which is that you all thought that this was never going to air.
Correct.
Why did you think that all of this was going to be cut out?
Leanne's a very strong person, and I think, she's brought a lot to the show, and I think that in a lot of ways we felt that they protected her.
Did you think it was gonna get cut out,
100%.
Stephanie?
I never thought it would see light of day.
So if you guys didn't think it was gonna already go, would have never told me?
I would have 100% told you so. 100%. Yes, but I also did want to give that light when she was doing it. I didn't want to give that light to that at the same time because I automatically knew how horrible it was, and I didn't want her to continue to do it. And she kept doing it, so that's why I brought it to your attention because I was like, this has gotten way too far.
They told you they were gonna use it before you had them got in the car.
What are you talking about?
They told you this was coming out before you told Carrie.
No, I was going to tell her anyway. I was going to tell her anyway.
Well, no,